As a mortgage advisor, I get asked lots of varying questions around whether it's possible to get a mortgage under such and such circumstance. In today's video, I'm going to be answering a client question about whether it's possible to get a mortgage when you're pregnant. So let's get into it. I'll start by reading the client question before I unpack and answer it. So it goes, "Hi Nicola, we are a young couple in West Auckland who are keen to buy our first home. We've been working hard and saving our deposit and we're pretty sure we have enough to buy now. We also just found out that we are pregnant and expecting a baby, which is super exciting, but we're also wondering if this now puts a spanner in the works with our plans to buy our first home. We want to know, is it possible to get a mortgage while we're pregnant, or do we need to wait until after the baby and I'm back at work from maternity leave? Thanks so much and we look forward to hearing from you." Okay, so let's dive into this. Basically, they're wanting to know, is it possible to get a mortgage while they're pregnant, or would it be better for them to wait until they've had their baby and return to work post-baby? To answer this question, yes, it is possible to get a mortgage while you're pregnant, but it is a little bit more challenging and there are a few more things that need to be factored in and a few more documents that need to be provided up front. It is more difficult because there is a level of uncertainty and also potentially reduced income. You may intend to return to work after 6 or 12 months of parental leave, but this isn't always the case and it's not always how things end up playing out. Some parents choose to either extend their leave or even not return to work at all after they've had their baby. Or they may choose to return to work part-time on reduced income. From the lender's perspective, this does make you a riskier applicant as there's a level of uncertainty around what your situation is actually going to look like post-baby when you're intending to return to work, or the question is always there on whether you're actually going to return to work. Another thing that's factored in is the additional living expenses on top of your current living expenses. Having a baby means that you would now need to add in baby expenses such as baby food, childcare, and also any baby products as well. Your disposable income will be reduced and therefore your borrowing ability is affected. This basically means that you may not be able to borrow the amount that you were actually looking for. Now, with all that being said, this is something that we actually achieved. We got our own occupied property when I was pregnant, so it is something that can be doable. There are a few extra things that do need to be supplied and explained to the lender before they'll consider approving your mortgage application if you are pregnant or on parental leave. In a nutshell, the lender needs to be satisfied that you're going to be able to meet your mortgage repayments before they'll consider approving you. This is basically the bottom line and what it comes down to. If you are pregnant, this is something that should always be disclosed to your mortgage advisor or to the lender if you're dealing direct so that they can factor this into your affordability moving forward. Under the Responsible Lending Code, we need to ensure that you are going to be able to afford your mortgage, so that's why it's so important that you disclose all information up front. If you are pregnant and going on parental leave, it's important that we can explain your situation and paint a bit of a picture for the lender on what your situation is going to look like around this. There are lenders who have more favourable policies around parental leave, so definitely speak to a mortgage advisor and get some advice around your individual situation to see if there's a lender that best fits your circumstances. There are a few things that we can look to supply that can help you to get approved. You will need to have been working for your current employer for at least 1 year as a permanent employee. Generally, we'll need to supply a letter from your employer confirming your return to work date, what your expected hours will be when you return, and also what your salary or pay is going to look like upon your return to work. If you're also still working at the time of your application, then we'll also need to supply your most recent 3 payslips. If your parental leave is going to be paid for a certain amount of time, we need to supply some documents supporting this, showing what the payments are going to look like and how long they're going to go on for. For example, here in New Zealand, the IRD offers a paid parental scheme if you meet the specific requirements, which are outlined on the IRD website if you're interested. Some employers also offer a paid parental leave scheme. If you're part of a couple, we'll also need to provide information around your partner's income and employment situation, including potentially payslips or any other documents that evidence their income. The lenders need to know what your income situation is going to look like for the future so they can check your affordability for a mortgage. If your income is going to be reduced while you are on parental leave, how are you going to service the loan? One thing that can be used as a mitigant is having a buffer of cash savings aside to cover your expenses while you're on parental leave, including any loan repayments. If you have a decent chunk of savings aside that you're not going to be using for your deposit, then this is something that we can explain to the lenders and they can factor it into your application as a strong mitigant which can help you get approved. Something else that we'll need to let the lenders know is, what is your plan for when you return to work in terms of childcare? What are the costs going to look like? I have had some parents provide quotes from daycare centres outlining what the fees are going to be, and this is something that we can look to provide to the lender, and they can use this to factor in your future expenses on what that may look like. Each situation is different for every client, so it's about figuring out what's your situation going to look like and then painting a picture for the lender around your unique circumstances. With all that said, sometimes the easy option is to just put your plans on hold for now and have your baby, and then settle into what life is going to be like post-baby, then look to get your mortgage and buy a home. This option of waiting until you've had a baby and return to work will also give you a bit more options among the lenders. You also won't need to supply as much documentation. I would always recommend to reach out and talk to a good mortgage advisor, as they'll be able to assess your situation and provide you some advice and guidance on what the best steps are for you moving forward. If you'd like any help or have any questions, feel free to get in touch, as I'll be happy to look into your situation and provide you some guidance. Anyway, that wraps up our video for today. Thanks for watching, and I hope you found this video useful. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.